Hi YouTube, it's MIgardener again with another update. So we're going to do a little how-to and a little informative video this time. And it's just going to be on how to do tomatoes and peppers, because we're getting a little bit bigger and we need to just transplant them so they don't get root bound, because that way you can make the plant healthier and just ensure that you have a nice, good root system. So stay tuned and we'll get back to that.
Well, Luke's going to show you how to do the tomatoes, and I'll show you how to do the peppers.
Okay, so when you're transplanting, or not really transplanting, when you're just putting more dirt in your cups to plant the tomatoes deep, you're going to want to give them a little bit of water in each one of the little cells. That way you can prevent shock and just ensure that your plants will live good in the dry environment, because the soil you're giving them is not going to be as moist as the one that you are putting in there. So you really don't even need them in all the cells. I'm just doing the ones that are large enough to plant deeper. And you want to really wait till they start to almost form the second pair of leaves, real leaves. And you basically just take your dirt and just fill it up just a little bit higher. Not all the way. You don't want to kill the plants with dirt, but you want to bring the dirt almost up to the, whoopsie, mistakes happen, don't worry about it. You want to put the dirt almost up to the first set of leaves. Even if it's a little seedling and only has one leaf, it's fine. Tomatoes are a vine, and wherever the dirt touches their stem, a new set of roots will grow. So even if they're babies, that's still instilled in them, so they're going to already know to do that. So that one's done. We're going to move on to these ones. It's a little harder to do because I don't really have the most precise tools, but if you bury them, just use your fingers and unbury them. And this is going to make the stems nice and thick, sturdy, and healthy, because the more roots there are, the healthier the plant, because there will be more available nutrients to be sucked up. And we're just going to finish these up, and I'll get back to you when they're all finished. And so now that we've got all these done, all we have to do is give them a little watering and put them underneath the grow light, and they'll be ready till they need replanting. And then we can fill them up and put them a little deeper. So that's good. Now Bree's going to show you how to replant pepper plants.
So now Luke has properly shown you how to make your tomato plants stronger by burying the stems a little bit deeper, so their stems will become stronger and they'll establish more roots. And now I'm going to demonstrate that same thing with the pepper plant. As you can see here, we have 9 plants, or 9 cups. Some of them have 2 plants per cup. And I'm going to be transplanting those into these peat pots. These are 3-ounce cups here. These are 5-ounce. So we don't want to give them too much room. We don't want to plant them in peat pots that are this big. These are too big. Those will be for when the plants get even bigger and even more stronger. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking the mixture of mostly rabbit and deer poop and a little bit of compost and dirt as well. And you don't want to fill them up too much, maybe about a quarter of the way, because we want to bury part of some of the stem. We want to bury some of the stem here, so they will establish more roots. Where that stem is showing here, you almost want to bury them up to these leaves here. So what it will do is the stem below the leaves roots will come out of there, and it'll have a stronger root system and stronger plant overall. So after you get your dirt in there, I'm going to pick one to show you here. I'm not going to do all of them here, but I will show you how to do one correctly. Sorry about that. And so what I'm doing is just loosening up the dirt here. You don't want to just yank it out of the dirt, because first of all, you might break the stem or the roots, and that's not very smart, because then we'd have to start all over again. So I'm going to gently pull it out. And if you have extra dirt, just make sure you put it over in your composting area. And I'm just breaking off a little bit of the dirt, not too much. What will happen is if you break off too much dirt and you add new soil the plant's not used to, it'll kind of go into a state of shock, and it'll dry up and it won't look too good, and then because it has to get used to the new nutrients in the new soil. So what I did is I just put it right in this peat pot, and I'm going to push it down a little bit, because I'm going to bury up to these leaves right here, right here. There's actually new leaves forming here, and I'm pretty sure this is a whole separate plant. I think, yes, this was an entirely separate pepper plant, so I'm going to have to replant that somewhere else. Okay, so as I was saying, I'm going to bury up to these first leaves right here, the first leaves that sprouted when the plant came up. I'm going to take our mixture and just do like Luke did. Actually, I'm going to grab a cup here. I'm going to do like Luke did and just put it around there, burying up into the leaves, so the plant will have a stronger root system and it can be stronger. Not quite there to the leaves yet, but one thing you gotta remember is if you bury over the leaves, those leaves will actually dry up and die, because in order for them to become green and full and healthy, they need the sun. So they need to go through their process of photosynthesis to keep the plant alive. And if you bury the leaves, really it's not good for the plant. You don't want to bury any leaves when you're doing something like this, because they'll shrivel up and they'll die, and then you will have plant waste material in there, but it's not going to compost as properly as it would if you had it in a bucket of dirt with a mixture of compost tea, or however you're going to be doing that. So I buried up to the leaves. I can actually put a little bit more dirt in there. Not too much. I don't want to overdo it here. So I got just enough, and it's right to where the leaves start. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you properly transplant a pepper. And after you do that, just give it a little drink of water. I gotta get my water here. We've actually been we've been taking the water from the tap, which has the chlorine in it. It is city water, and we are leaving it in milk jugs so it can distill, so the chlorine will evaporate, and it's not good for your plants. So I just want to give this plant a little drink of water. The soil is already very moist from what it was in and the stuff we just planted it with, so you don't want to water them too much so they don't get overwatered. And of course, you know that overwatering your plant's not good for it. So that is a properly transplanted pepper plant. And remember, if you like our videos, please rate, comment, and subscribe.